Welcome to Tales from the Switch Vault, where I, Jim, look back at some of the weird and wonderful games from the Nintendo Switch. This time I aim to hit rock bottom in Minecraft. Originally created by Swedish developers Mojang, it got its full release on PC in 2011 after several early editions. The mega hit has actually come to every platform and device possible, including Raspberry Pi, Apple TV OS, and somehow on Nintendo 3DS. The Switch got two versions of Minecraft, with the Nintendo Switch edition releasing in May 2017 before being delisted a year later, and the Bedrock edition of Minecraft replacing it in June 2018. Having such a title so early was a huge selling point for the handheld hybrid system. Minecraft is the sandbox game, throwing players into a procedurally generated world full of materials, animals and creatures made up of blocks. In survival mode, the player must craft tools and weapons, create buildings and hunt for food to live, with a day-night cycle that influences player survivability, in particular the mobs, which are a group of creatures that come to kill you. The game is particularly famous for its exploding creepers. In order to survive beyond a few days, you have to head out and gather resources, whether this is digging down for diamonds or growing crops for food. Hitting a tree with your fist for wood now is a staple of all survival games. You have a limited list of items you can make on your own prior to creating a workbench, which opens up a world of possibilities. As for the creative mode, this allows players unlimited items or blocks, in which they can easily fly around and build whatever they so wish. The freedom and creativity allowed here is extraordinary. It's like being given an unlimited number of Lego blocks and told to go wild. I actually think that having both of these modes is crucial to its success, with the survival, the exploring side of the game, and then the creative, the arty chill out side. Add in multiplayer for both and it's not hard to see why kids still flock to this title today. A great and safe place to hang out online, particularly when compared to like VR or Roblox. Might this be the most recognizing gaming visuals out there? The iconic blocks, the jagged topography of the mountains and hills. I think that the simplicity of the design here is what makes it so accessible. It's all basically Lego that can fit into most combinations. It's amazing that the natural designs of rivers and caves work so well with the blocky aesthetic. In other games it looks clunky, but the rocks and vegetations have enough textures to make this feel far more natural. I think the real standout is the lighting. It plays such a huge part in the gameplay, whether you're deep underground in the dark or peering out at the looming sun to safely go outside again. The night sky bleeding into day is particularly stunning. It isn't the most cutting edge of graphics, but it doesn't need to be. The game runs smooth enough when you're out exploring or digging on your own. There's notable pop-in though in the overworld when it's particularly full of trees and mountains, but to be honest that's to be expected on Switch 1. It's more than good enough, particularly for when they go and playing with other people. With such a huge and long-running game, there have been numerous people work on the music and sound design, initially starting with Daniel Rosenfeld, otherwise known as C418. Known for his ambient music, he's created a lot of the game's soundtrack that we also used in the Minecraft movie. His music is very chill and ideal in the background as you build your masterpiece. The Minecraft Volume Alpha soundtrack was actually added to the United States Library of Congress for preservation. He's also worked on Cookie Clicker and Wonderstop alongside numerous self-released albums. As for the in-game sounds, he used the Foley technique, recreating everyday sounds to enhance the audio experience. This was new to him and was a trial and error process, with him saying, "You just make a sound and they eventually go, 'Oh my god, that's it, get the microphone!'" Examples he gave were lightly touching unspooled VHS tape for the sound of grass, and a gushing fire hose through a sampler to create the weird screeching sound of the spiders. Other notable artists that worked on the soundtrack were Aaron Sheroff, who worked on Cobalt Core, Kumi Tanioka of Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles fame, and Lena Rain, who I've previously talked about her work on Celeste. The music is great, but shoutouts to the Mario music and Nintendo World Map, it really hits the spot. The hook for Minecraft is that creativity, being able to build anything that comes into your mind if you have the time and patience to make it. Sure, it's possible in survival mode, but having your castle blown in half after 6 hours of work is no fun. I remember countless hours as a kid with a big box of mixed Lego, trying to build houses and recreating Jurassic Park scenes. I so wish this game existed for me then. I'm very envious of kids today. Want a giant skull on a mountain with lava flowing from the eye sockets? Go for it! The early game cobblestone cubes really lend themselves to the Gothic style castles and buildings, but it's actually multiplayer that has the massive appeal here, allowing multiple people to build huge projects such as Middle-earth or Westeros in their entirety. For me, I need the survival elements to keep me focused and goal orientated, but it's great for artists to have this. And that's not even getting into the people who have been able to code within the game, with Mr. Squishy famously spending 21 months to recreate a playable Pokemon Red in there. It's kind of the coolest thing you can do with a game. Sure, you can build and survive, but how I really think this game stands out is probably the most approachable title out there. Granted, there is a learning curve, but it's mostly in learning how to control a character in a 3D environment. Most kids can pick this up pretty quickly, particularly with the modern controller. Older adults, not so much, but unless you're steeped in gaming from your youth, it can take a while. It's the title I would recommend to anyone starting out in gaming. Once you understand how to move, then it's just the crafting, which is actually pretty logical. Hit a tree for wood, create planks, and then make a crafting table. Once you get it, you're off and away. There are a flood of guides and let's plays online. It also helps that this basically runs on anything, so even just a standard smartphone can play it. I can't think of another game that's so accessible in terms of game playability and device omnipresence. On Switch 2, as expected, it runs even better. There's less pop-in from what I can see. There's no dedicated version of it as yet, though I think that will happen eventually as we've seen on other consoles. More power and HDR should have even larger and better looking environments. The game continues to be given major free updates, including this past week with Chase the Skies drop, which includes the vibrant visuals overhaul of the lighting on the Bedrock version. It looks stunning. I always like to look up the length of the game to get a vague idea of the time investment. According to How Long to Beat, Minecraft is 133 hours to finish. There is a story campaign to play through, but I believe that's just people messing around in the game rather than completing it in that time. I certainly have not seen credits yet. Outside of the main modes, there is a glut of DLC content available for Minecraft, but the main standout on Switch is the Mario mashup world you can boot up. Full of Mario-themed skins and environments, it's really cool. There's also the thousands of user creations that you can buy. Basically makes this an endless game. The history of the game and the company is actually quite convoluted. So in brief, Mojang Studios, with Mojang being Swedish for gadget, was formed in 2009 by Marcus Notch Persson with the specific aim of developing Minecraft. He has been coding since his childhood and worked on dozens of games for several companies. The game started as a clone of Infaminer, an open source multiplayer sandbox game that came out in early 2009. Using code from an earlier game, Minecraft got an alpha release in mid-2009. The company began hiring up after its initial success. By March 2012, it had sold over 5 million copies, and the company now had 25 employees by November that year. Within a couple of years, Persson was exhausted from all the pressure and wanted to sell, actually tweeting out to see who wanted to buy his share in Mojang. Several major companies showed interest, including Activision Blizzard, EA, but most notably it was Microsoft who stumped up $2.5 billion to acquire the company. Interestingly for the Xbox platform, it was kept multi-platform and put on every device imaginable, bringing in hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue. Initially a Java release, they created the Bedrock version to align all devices. There have been several spin-off games in Minecraft Dungeons and Minecraft Legends, and of course, the 2025 movie. Minecraft has become the biggest selling video game ever, with 350 million copies sold across all platforms. The Switch has 6.2 million of these as of this year, which is a significant amount, though I was honestly expecting a few more for the handheld device. That version has an 86 on Metacritic and continues to receive the same upgrades as the other versions. It has been nominated for countless awards over the years, but most notably won the Best Debut Game, Best Downloadable Game, and Innovation Award at the 2011 Game Developers' Choice Awards. I first stumbled across Minecraft on PC over a decade ago. I'm not the most creative person around, so mainly stuck to the survival side of things. That loop of making wooden tools to then get stone and make better tools before finding iron is an extremely satisfying one. You need these to get through the harder materials the deeper you go. I have a whole host of saves on PS4 in particular of building farms in the sky or gothic castles with waterfalls running through them. It's great, but I do have a few complaints. I don't actually like the character designs. Not that I could do any better, but they look quite ugly to me. The blocks lend themselves so well to human-made structures and the wider geology, but I'm very much a first-person player, so I can ignore them. The game is made for experimentation, so you can unlock the blueprints for items designs by using them, but for my 50th new save, I kind of want them ready to go, you know? Particularly when coming back 7 months later and forgotten most of it in my old age. Fortunately, this option is hidden away in the settings, alongside the cheats that let you play in your own style. For me, this is probably the definition of video gaming, with Fortnite now a close second. What a legacy, basically defining survival games now with attacking trees for wood and making tools. This was seen before but has now solidified the format. Ridiculous to say, but I just don't see there being a Minecraft 2. Plenty of room for new additions, plus the online marketplace is still very healthy and incredibly lucrative. Add in the education edition made for schools, this game has solidified itself in popular culture. I mean, they even added Steve to Super Smash Bros. That's all you need to know. I can't wait to see where this goes in the coming decades. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe for more weekly Nintendo Switch video game essays, and comment below where you first played Minecraft. Right, I actually now need to go and see if I can find that Ender Dragon.